Raven's going to be a very exciting player to watch, as the duelist on Catface, like I said, has traveled from region to region, and there's so much you can take from playing in a different region as well. Now in, of course, North America, being on the Phoenix, very feast or famine. You want to be the one who gets all the kills so you can farm the easiest ultimate in the game to get right now, and what's made Phoenix so meta at the moment. And we could pair that with another duelist. I mean, Phoenix almost can either act as that entry duelist or can also play a pseudo initiator of being able to flash, especially on the other side of walls or other side of smokes, to try and enable somebody with more mobility like a Jet, Waylay, or anything like that.
And that's the thing that's missing for Mass Treasure. I think for me, when it comes down to trying to dive with both Swerve and Snowy, I'm just trying to think and picture, let's say, B-site hits. You're hoping that these eyes are going to hit perfectly right now for you to take full site control, but to try to take back site control, I think that's why you're also patching an Astra into the composition, because you don't have the best utility to really support for you to move forwards a dash into back in those lanes. So the more I'm thinking about it, I wouldn't be surprised if Mass is just going to continue hitting the A site for these type of hits and plants, or just trying to go for a little bit of that mid control so they could have some cleaner splits into B sites. Because if it comes down to them just trying to brute force their way into B, I think they might have a hard time.
And that was a really interesting tidbit that Gia mentioned in the interview between the Astra, the Omen, or any other controllers. Astra just lets you get to call the map better, kind of see everything, and just take your time. And it's going to be so much better for the post plants once it gets to that point. Right now, you're just trying to be everywhere all at once as MEOW, or Catface, I should say. I'm not going to try and meow too much, guys. That's more for the chat to do. Try and run it through meow. Oh my god. Chat clip that.
You started it. They don't have to clip it. I'm gonna meow all game.
No, please don't. Well, we got time to kill as, wow, Catface going towards the back. Oh, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
I mean, this walk up from Sewers though is gonna be huge. It's gonna get a lot of info. Nice by Rodden.
Oh, and to survive there is pretty massive as well. So that's something of Catface to note, as well, at least they took care of the defender. This could just inspire them to straight up go to B, and as they are trying to make that decision, Logic and Swerve right through their plans, and what looked to be a first blood and a good round for Catface just hits them in the face.
Yeah, not too sure what happened there in the end. Oh, I mean, by not too sure, it's more like, why did he do that for the side of Catface? Because yes, they had a great lurk on that B site, and then they got the pick. And then as soon as they're discovered here by Rotten towards Sewers, Rotten got info on not only one contact in the connector, but like 3 players towards Ivy. And Mass never really turned around to fight against that. They just kept walking towards the street. So for Catface, instead of slowing things down and trying to figure out how Mass would react to it, one just ran and jumped out in the open. I think that was Luna Fox or Blue Owl, either or. One just jumped out solo, got picked off, and then you're able to get a huge saturate for Swerve, and you cannot trade on the side of the attack. That was unfortunately not a good way, to work your mid round there for Catface.
And the orbs given over to Swerve after that initial 3K in the pistol.
Bring them down.
And this is going to be a really interesting player to watch, just known for their aggression. How do you handle this? Logic says, I got you. Holy! Logic also putting on a show from having a multi-kill in the pistol. MEOW, Catface,
yes,
are just going out with a whimper when they're outgunning and outnumbering Mask. This just can't keep happening.
And it's tough too right now that those picking up kills are getting very close to it. Also Swerve in the pistol round, now Logic going into the anti-eco, whereas this could have been a round where on the attack side from MEOW, they could have tried to go for a little bit of orb control. We talked about prefacing going into this map that the Phoenix will only 6 orbs, something that could be on that game plan to keep doing it on their side too, to try to get some big ults into the gun rounds. But now after 2, only Elaborates has kills on the board, and it's going to make it even harder right now for Catface to really get good value into this 3rd round. Although, albeit we have still some good weapons versus the bonus round for Masked Treasure, so there is a chance for them to still have a clean round.
Very mobile duelists on the Mask side of things. You could tell just by the way that they take map control, and if Catface aren't careful, they're just gonna get team wiped by even though they'll have the better numbers. So Catface this time will have the A orb, but if you give Mask an inch, they take a mile. Look how they immediately explored mid, and now they're going towards the attacker's spawn and elaborate. Come back and figure out that this is happening. Kestrel does a really good effort to stifle this flank. And now Mask don't even have a flank anymore. So Catface will thrive on in this round. After them is now Rotten with the Sheriff. Gets checked by the Prowler. I like the reposition so you can wait for the group up.
Yeah, great utility by Luna Fox too to make sure that she clears stores right and the left side here of that front A side. So it allows for Catface to get the plant and hopefully salvage this round. Good damage was done by Mask in the first place.
A closer around than you would have expected. Now Catface have dotted the I's, crossed the T's. Mask take with a Marshal and a Sheriff. There's the well from Blue Owl. Pushing people off the spike initially.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh, the top is kind of nasty. The smoke remains though, and the diffuser down for the count. And Catface will deny the bonus.
Still quite nice though for Mask to walk up towards that mid. Again, this is their bonus round, right? So you want to be proactive in these rounds, and it did that perfectly. Did some great econ damage at the same time too against Catface, but Catface was able to get that plant on that previous round, so that will add a little bit of credits into the bank for them to have a pretty decent buy going to this one too, which I would have thought here going into this round you would have an outlaw for the side of Zoe, but looks like they're gonna go for, I was gonna say an op, but now this time a Vandal instead. So interesting change of events here. Still having a fight towards the A main for the orb control to deny the Phoenix orb.
Length the deep smoke and a Nightfall. Mask Treasure just didn't know how far away Catface ended up being, and they used the Nightfall to fight through it, and Catface escaped. So I would say that's a win in the Catface.
A huge one. A huge one, because everything was being blocked out by smokes. I think it was the Molly, the hot hands that was thrown on the attack side by Raven Rar that forced the Nightfall to protect the duelist up towards the boxes. So now they could just re-hit, re-walk, and try to re-clear and trade out towards this A main.
And Mask were launching every entry and are really playing like a passive safe defense, which is really what you need. Now the ball is in Catface's court, and the same result continues, trying to get down this staircase. Catface will get through main, they'll flood in. Mask ready to retaliate. Convergent paths, and they just absolutely suffocate this Catface team in almost a flawless fashion at the end.
I told you it was going to get difficult here when you have two players from that second round that were getting really close to ults. That was both the Nightfall and the Convergence path from Logic and from Swerve, respectively. So as Catface is still trying to get map control on their gun round, when they're actually going for a full exec without really forcing rotates, without really forcing util to come out too, and to just go for the jet dash in, they were in for a surprise too when the Convergent path got a lot of value for the side of Mask. So now you carry over a hero rifle into the next round on Elaborate, so try to recycle that a bit or not. I'm gonna use that solo here towards that long B side.
Curveball is so strong to get this mid alleyway control. I think Catface are starting to tempo up a little bit because they realize that since they're so stacked together, they either need to activate lurks around the map so they don't give up map control as easily, or they need to be a little bit quicker on their execution because Mask are ready on the flank and Zoe's ready for the shot right into Raven. The plant will still go through, and someone has to address the elephant in the room, and it's Kestrel, at least watching the choke point, not really needing to get active too much. Now Mask start to develop. Good wins now with the Odin coming through the middle of the map, watching at the choke point. I mean, Luna Fox just has a pistol, a lot of just pistols on the Catface side, but Elaborate just does it all on her own. The Vandal gets a 3K, makes this winnable 2 versus 1, and pulls off the Thrifty for Catface.
Turns out good to have a solo rifle walking up towards that B main for the lurk, and Elaborate is able to clutch that round and keep Catface in the game. Don't know how the hell that happened though, because everything looks like it was dotted I's and crossed T's for the side of the reskill of Mask. because they understood where the gaps were. They got the kill on the backstabber, but as soon as they tried to flood into the site, I think that's the issue too. We were talking about the lack of util and flashes on the side of Mass, and that might be a pain point for them for the retakes too. So Elaborate stays out in the open and is able to win all those duels on the Mass running back towards that straight to B.
Gets the Steel Garden, so... Ooh, not even needing a smoke or anything. Just contact play from Kestrel. Big opener, first blood. Now he could even get the Steel Garden ready after earning that just to suppress Smash, which Rotten isolated away from the flock. Unsure whether to try and put up a resistance and get a pick or play with the team, and now Catface very much rewarded with the round, it seems, in a 5 versus 3.
You are divided.
Yeah, they're pretty much winning this round.
See how Swerve's gonna try and break in here. Surprise from Mask, and it's so tough to one Catface out of these power positions because they just dip out of encounters that they don't think that they can win. So I really like that round out of Catface.
And that's a big round to pick up too for Catface after that 4K and pretty much the clutch from Elaborate on that hero rifle in the previous round. It allows here for them to have a strong take towards this B site, still have the ults to work with. Elaborate with the 4K still has a Steel Garden in case things go south when Mass is retaking over that B site. And now Luna Fox is also 1 away from her own ult too, and they're gonna go back for that same conditioning, fight for the A site orb, and instead of giving it to Raven on that previous round, you get have a Nightfall to pop into the A site with.
Just feels like everywhere Catface go, it's the whole unit. Maybe one lurk once in a while, but they realize they need everything to take down Mask. Steel Garden, a flash out. And wow, Mask were able to counter, throw some utility, and completely mess up the trajectory, but Catface able to stabilize. Not only that, just thrive against the pistol squad of Mask.
No charges
Despite the troubles, Catface still have 4 intact. Now the spike down. Okay, Kestrel's getting tagged. Luna Fox trades. After all that, there's only 2 remaining. Kind of surprised.
Still scratching my head that one because they have to hit tab, guys. Come on. Hit tab. You realize here that there's an eco for Mask. So if there's an eco for Mask, you can't use the Steel Garden because they're already on pistols. So I thought the game plan was drawn to pick up the Nightfall so you can use the Nightfall to get into site. You would know if there's going to be a gamble stack or whatnot going into the site in itself. And I think they just ran into a trap themselves when everybody was already ready. No gun jam. You're just crosshair placement ready and getting all these picks. So at least now they're still able to get the round for Catface or taking the lead. Now they're going to slow things down for a bit too. They're expecting for a push to come out for Mask, and they do. Read it correctly.
For Mask, wait, and they get exactly what they want. Patience paying off. As Raidiant, a nice little strafing there, is able to keep this winnable still for Catface. And at the very least, try to punish, which is what you need. 1 duelist down, 1 to go.
Now they might walk contact or just try to get that corner, so utilize that Nightfall once again here for Luna Fox to potentially guarantee an open A site. And they have to know the pressure coming in from Art too, so the scaling has to be good. Don't ult. You already have somebody walking up forward here for Blue Owl.
Every time you say Blue Owl, I think of Blue Owl. Like, what Nightfall I'm going to be thinking about is how Catface could take the 4th round in a row. Which right now, they at least got the strike down.
Take hold.
Mask have some serious weapons coming up. 1 away from the Nightfall too. Like, just wish you actually had it now. And now you give time for Catface to get their smokes up. You let Catface take space. And Mask are with a lot of hesitation, trying to plan around this cosmic divide. Logic's gonna break in and be the miracle worker for this team. Should be enough to get at least someone on the spike here very soon. Blue Owl's gonna activate the util to delay as much as possible, but you can't delay the inevitable.
Yeah, hard to do on a 3 versus 5, but I loved here at least that when Catface walked back into the A site that they didn't try to go for an ult right away. You saw the positioning from Luna Fox. It looked like she was ready to drop it, but because you had the forward push from Blue Owl, you could play the contact. Then she gets spotted here towards the art. You ult towards that side, and you're able to get confirmation that Mass is playing a retake. which is nice, but it's just hard to do in the end when you still have a cosmic divide for the retake and 5 players to play against you. So it's respectable on the attempt, and Mass is able to stop the bleeding for a little bit here and keep the score and matchup very close on this first map.
Been a big flash in mid in the past couple of rounds, and oh, Zoe so close to hitting that shot. And I think as the rounds go by, I think mechanically too, both teams are gonna be a lot more warmed up. Now you got that presence in mid, something important. Rotten very much trapped. I like what the sees, and then the molly on top just absolutely ruins their day. And Mask are quick to kind of fill the gap and take the position that was left behind.
And I love that we're pushing towards extremities too, especially when they're playing double op on the middle. Now the recall smoke, beautiful, nicely done here on that scale up. That allows Elaborate to get that pick on that rotate from Swerve. So the call out onto Owl to drop the recall smoke allows them to potentially even confirm here the round, because again you're retaking with 2 ops. Now make that one.
Maybe you want to keep that. I don't know. 2 versus 5. We'll see. But man, Elaborate has been such a boon for this team. I'm really so impressed by these B-lurks that we have had on the Catface side of things. Still an even game though. And yeah, in the end, the op will be kept.
That's what you need to for the team to be very vocal. So the first contact is walking across, even if a couple of them almost got caught off guard from Kestrel and from Raven as they're trying to battle up on middle. It's still great information for the IGL. Forgot who that is over on Catface side, but for them to call out, let's activate on the extremities. So to have Elaborate move forward, why not time it? And now even with the roaching into these last 2 players not able to save their weapons, this is also great calling and teamwork being explained and called out for on a side of Catface.
This is so close though. I'm so nervous, and you have really good ults on both sides. Convergent pass, running back, both 2 great entry tools for the team, or even a Nightfall if you want to kind of help retake things. Mask have come off more as a team that will check things out in mid, but not try to take too early a fight. So we've seen them take more risk for that A orb in the beginning, but now
Get out of my
slow
way.
it down, but now they're all stacked up together, ready to clash in mid, while Catface have different ideas. Zoe's gonna call it out, and Abel teleport back, while Catface focus on B main. Elaborate is focusing on living after seeing a stack in mid.
All great reads once again. We'll talk about that in a bit though, because Mass is actually trying to push towards market.
Wow. I mean, this stack is crazy. Swerve has just been so deadly thus far. Blue Owl just gets all the pins lined up for an absolute strike. A 4K makes it look easy.
Yeah, sweeping up here these eco frags against Mass rotating across, and again this is all great calling and understanding the econ and macroing on the side of Catface. So as 2 rounds ago you're facing off against 2 ops, you force all those weapons out of the hands of Mass. You know they're going to be on some sort of an eco, and because you don't have enough money anymore for Zoe, you can't pull out a rifle or an op on the B side. And also because MEOW have always been conditioning the A side fight or in the orb or mid control and never really just full hit towards B, then they're expecting that nobody's really going to be holding that B side except for the chamber, and they overtake the B side and they won that.
Starting to be a solid lead for Catface as well after being down 1-3 at the beginning of the map. Nightfall, Cosmic Divide, Catface putting it all on the line.
Wow.
Yet it's all a fake.
That's it.
It's an expensive fake.
But the condition is always going to be very good, but although they haven't pivoted quick enough, so the rotate comes back on this B side. Oh no.
Oh my god, Elaborate. This lurk is insane. I mean, it's not even a lurk anymore. It's just a straight up entry. Now you need to make sure your spike goes down safely after some pushback was given from Mass's defense. Now an op is in the picture, and all Catface have to do is just not look directly into the eclipse.
You gotta save again.
Yeah.
There's no choice. But again, I gotta say, it's conditioning towards that A side. I just mentioned before, they like to be aggro to take the A or control or to fight for that space. So they make a lot of audible noise, and then they go for the Cosmic Divide on the A side, which pulls out the rotate. Even though you started rotating back from Mask, it's still just enough of a gap here for Elaborate to just win duels. And As you mentioned, Elaborate has been a boon here, Lemon Kiwi. So to keep their responsibility for Elaborate to get entries for these lurks on the B side, it shows that Catface has full control of this half so far.
There they are.
Cafes are very rich right now, so
Yeah.
kills are really just more
Last
important
round
for
before
Mask
the
to
switch.
stay alive and keep these rifles that they very much desperately need. And now it's 7-4, and Catface, they've been more win streaky in this half than Mask have. Mask, I think, were so incredible in the first couple of rounds. Like, they were immediately flanking, taking any map control, getting multi-kills off of Logic and Swerve, who got the first ultimates in the entire game. And now that's all fallen away, and now that Catface, I think, are just flooding a lot more efficiently.
We're gonna try to trap play this too. You're seeing that they're setting up for the convergence path and trying to plow right after this.
Right, at the right time, just barely, but Catface sit and watch and wait and frag back as Mask. Pretty happy with what they walked away with. I mean, Snowy tried to walk away. Now there's a Nightfall. Mask think that it's not over. Steel Garden as a response from Catface forces Mask away from their own Nightfall. Maybe you can't even sit back and play off the off because of the smokes left behind from Blue Owl. So important for them to be part of the post plant. But now we're at an absolute standstill as back to 0-1. Catface re-clearing through the map, not really wanting to plan when Mask are around.
This is fire though. To keep Blue Owl in here, if anything, they're still gonna take her down, but it gives enough time here for the two others to move towards this B site to plant.
All right, time to make a highlight reel. Oh, okay, well,
Spike planted.
good enough. Shotgun looked funny there. Now Catface will have a little bit of time before the retake comes in.
Yeah, nerf shotgun Bucky jumping, by the way. Or Shorty rather, but
Elaborate. 1v1. That's why you trust them on the lurk. It almost pulls off all three. Zoe versus Luna Fox. Some damage even done to Zoe. And just like that, it's over. And it's an 8-4 half for Catface.
and that's Elaborate getting 2 out of the 3 kills on that 2 versus 3 in the end. Yeah, it's definitely been very one-sided in my eyes for Catface in this first half. Yes, it looked very good for Mask in the first place on that pistol round and to convert the anti-eagle very cleanly from that spray that we had from Logic on that second round. But I think it was because Catface kind of just threw their lives away in that pistol round from that street fight in the very beginning. And I think outside of that, they've been very good in terms of controlling the tempo and every single one of their calls on their attack side now. Again, this is where it's going to be difficult now for Mask. They don't have any flashes. Taking B side is going to be very difficult. So mid control, A side slam is probably going to be the name of the game.
We've seen some serious potential from Logic and Swerve in these crucial moments. The pressure is on, the lights are bright. Raven, oh, it's looking bright out there. The Prowler in the face just swings off a bit. All of Catface converging in the middle of the map as Mask are still trying to repeat. And Kestrel to try and have to settle down the arena. And everyone leaves with Catface now, the one-person advantage.
Yeah, Kestrel, who's been an analyst for Wadadaa, but also had a 1-sub game where they just dropped big numbers against an iteration of YFPX in the past, and this time playing duelist here for Catface and putting decent numbers too on his Jet.
Good adjustment. Oh, Logic! Clutch as ever, 2 versus 2, but at 10 HP. So Zoe really has to do the work here to try and clear for the spike carrier, because any stiff breeze will knock over Logic at this point. Luna, Elaborate around the corner, and Zoe check in Logic! 10 HP in a dream! Not touched yet!
30
and
seconds
against
left.
the player on the wall, heard the drop down, Prowler in the face, 5 bullets, now down to 4, and Luna wins. And that means also the pistol in favor of Catface. Try and get towards the end of Pearl.
And great util by Luna Fox as well in that 1v1 because Logic, again, highlight reels coming through on that second round and almost getting a nice little highlight package reel for that pistol round to convert a 4K when I didn't even think even on after the fight towards the A long had 10 HP remaining and still was able to win another fight by pushing towards Flowers. So good on them to get that almost across the finish line for Mask, but it's still going to be Catface taking the lead. And in a comfortable spot to win this anti-eco. And if you're looking at it, Lemon Kiwi, it seems that we don't really care that 4-9.
Yeah, that's why Mass taking the first pistol in anti-eco, it's like such a big gap in the score. It's crazy how this match has really devolved and how Catface, having just all of that experience under their belts, able to know what they need to do to adapt and to improve. And right now, it's Mask coming in through the site. Now Catface can reorient the attention, but oh yeah, that flank could have been something there for Snowy and Zoe. It's a cool duo. Nonetheless, Mask just have sheriffs and really just need to go next.
Exactly. I mean, losing Blue Owl is not a big deal when they have full A control right after as well, and they have better weapons for the side of Catface. And the reason why I'm saying Mask doesn't really care that they're down 4-9 because they still went for a full piss around in the previous one. So they're trusting here that the weapons going from now on would still give him a good opportunity to catch up in this game because they have a double duelist dive comp that they could literally double dive into because they have a Waylay and a Jet. Both of them having ways to be able to escape through the chaos too. But again, it has to come down to how much of these duels, how much of the walk contacts potentially could come in their favor because they don't have any flash to set them up.
An op from Kestrel, Outlaw from Elaborate. May have just missed the walk by there from Zoe. So unlucky, but Elaborate has been one of the most consistent players when it comes to this whole map so far. Catface with the first blood off of a sheriff, surprisingly. It does not get any better for Mask. Really needed to convert this rifle round if they wanted to have any hopes of cementing any kind of comeback. Now the mask, where the smokes come up, and maybe the mask comes off as players drop one by one. The trade is nice, but now you need a hero. Snowy could just be that, and the re-swing from Logic is good enough to somehow make this a pretty even matchup, 2 versus 2, minus, you know, the injuries on the mask side.
Yeah, because meanwhile, we did have a body shot from the Outlaw of Elaborate onto Zoe. So
30 seconds
the fact
left.
that they're walking back down the street towards B is a great call and a great read too from that first initial duel that Zoe had. Because they're expecting here that the rotate comes out from Elaborate to help Kestrel. And that shouldn't have been fights though. That was down in the favor of Mask with the position that we currently had from Catface. But still ends up being a 2 versus 2 in the pulse plant.
Kestrel could not be any further away than where they were. So Elaborate will have to be first contact, and pushing in the site with 2 snipers. All Mask have to do is don't peek. Watch the angle and Elaborate right through the heart of Logic. And Kestrel shows up just in time. So this double sniper retake is pretty good.
Be crazy too, and on top of that, when Elaborate got the body shot onto Zoe, should have maybe called out that they should have pulled out pistols, because that should have been a easy 2 versus 1 if they were able to trade that out. But who am I to doubt snipers that are just letting their shots every single time here on both Elaborate and Kestrel? So it is what it is, and it is still a 7-round lead in favor of Catface on their map pick. And now you're seeing the reason why too, that they're very comfortable playing this map despite them being 2-2 in this Swiss stage so far.
This is an intense series. Like we said before, guys, this is for the main event. You lose and you're out. And to be at a score deficit like this obviously doesn't help the mental for this map, but how does it affect you for the whole series? At least Mask can try to depend on the fact that their map pick is coming up here on Split. Catface came in with a game plan, and I'll say they executed it.
They have a good read once again too, supporting the Kestrel op when she missed the first shot against Zoe, but then you're seeing the instant rotate to have 3 players to stack up towards the A side. While you still have this wall up on street, they have pretty much everything on lockdown. So as you continue to walk and be very slow and quiet for Mask, this might finally cause some mistakes to happen on the side of Catface, because you're thinking that they're still trying to lean towards an A side hit in the late rounds, but they could always surprise players if they're overextending towards street. Right over here, Art, first example.
Put it in the papers. There, the goat. You get chased by a Waylay. Usually you don't live that. But
that's insane.
That is insane. Catface getting ever so closer, but wait, Mask. Pressure makes diamonds. And man, did they shine. Just the double swing on the other side of the spike. Mask with every round they can get. And wow, Logic. Multi-kills after multi-kills. Worth their weight in gold. Kestrel, the last one left. Pretty rich team as well if they wanted to go for a play and really ruin everything for Mask, maybe even win it. Nightfall in a 1 versus 1 with the pistol out too. Oh, that's a difficult shot to hit. And Logic gives them the thrifty.
I was about to say that would probably be a perfect moment to pull out the operator instead of playing the pistol versus when you had an opponent that had 10 HP a couple of rounds ago. But yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say before. When you're slowing things down for a bit and you're trying to play the walk contact, you saw how Lunafox overextended the push up towards Art. She got punished down to 52, was getting chased down too, and you're seeing players trying to rotate across, try to support and help out. That allows gaps to happen, to open up and for Mass to take over, and they're able to win these pistol rounds by flooding, or pistol save by flooding into the A side and getting the round in their favor. So nice little fight. Here comes the fight towards the front B.
Mask with first blood, but man, getting through this staircase is as difficult as ever. These fights just always favor Catface. Now it's pretty good parade to start happening here. Zoe repeats stats, so wait a minute. This is not over by any means. Catface, or Mask, I should say, to be able to grab this spike. Kestrel is on prevention duty. Worst case, Blue Owl will be the last layer of defense for B. Maskers also just took a step, so Kestrel knows they have not left yet. Blue Owl, first contact, Kestrel ready to swing, and Logic takes care of both. This fade is incredible.
Yeah, so far Logic is single-handedly keeping Mask in this game from the second half, especially.
I'll elaborate. 0 credits. Also, another of the top fraggers from the Catface side of things. 1v2, 1 enemy remaining. Holding their positions, and the re-swing is perfect from Zoe. And Mask live on despite what looked to be such a good round for Catface.
They became too obvious after as well for Catface after winning the initial fight and dropping that spike. To have Lunafox continue to jiggle peek in the same angle that allows a walk re-peek from the op was one, the first mistake. And then secondly, because you're so stressed out to try to protect so stressed out to protect Kestrel behind the top of the top B control rather. There's no smoke that's being recalled, no stars being recalled to smoke out the turret to allow the flank to happen here on the defensive side for Elaborate. So they gave what, 3 individual 2v1s in favor of Mask that ended up being a converted round for the attack side too. That breaks the econ. Look at the money that Catface currently has.
My ult's ready.
Yeah, from the thrifty to that last round, just after Catface were so rich, now not so much, and it does not get better. Not that we're expecting anything crazy from a bunch of sheriffs, but knives were also pulled by Kestrel. Gonna be pulled towards the B side of things, where Mask feels like the sky's the limit, as Kestrel's now gonna go test the waters and get a taste of their own medicine, as Zoe off the smoke is able to escape. I'm surprised.
Looks like Raven's just gonna let everybody pass while trying to find the timing behind.
Now waiting for the right moment.
Spike planted.
Use the run it back. Catface in position. Also Blue Owl watching the flank or the reinforcements. Steel Garden pulled from Elaborate to even up the odds. Kestrel still has knives out, and Mask hold on for dear life, and also hold on to the Vandal, which is very key here. Checking the angles carefully. Snowy still continues to live, and Blue Owl cannot meditate anymore. You'll have to think about that one in the next rounds, because Mask have really generated some momentum here.
Agreed. I think this is small micro mistakes that are Mass is taking full advantage of currently against Catface. Not too sure if you're going to try to pull out a timeout yet here, because at the end of the day, they're still in pretty decent control of the reads in terms of Catface against Mass so far. But I think it's what 2 separate occasions that Lunafunks gets a little bit caught, but kind of breaks a little bit the chain of defense that they were being set up here for Catface. So that might be an area to exploit for the side of Mass to potentially take the confidence that's potentially shaken away from the Fade.
That was a warning shot from Kestrel at this point. Gonna leave Raven inserted there so that make sure Mask don't run the middle of the map. Good map control overall from Catface, just knowing every lane and where Mask could be coming from.
I'm loving that we're re-clearing towards A main though. Look at Kestrel's position here towards the A orb. So once you start peeking out here, there you go. That jump spot might confirm now for players to start rotating towards that B side. Nicely done by Owl, who's down to 5 HP, but still doing her job.
5 HP, still alive to tell the tale, and they had options of Nightfall or Cosmic Divine. They opt for the Nightfall, which has been good to fight with that. Really, at least you scare them off, and that's always good, I guess, for Catface. Alright.
30 seconds left.
Needs to lock in if you want to keep that up. Not going to get a lot of second chances like that. Mask at the front door. Also have that wall, that buys wall up, and recalling out. Swerve will stay with the team. The run it back gets reset. All of Catface are here to say hello. 12 seconds left. It is now just a death match to determine the round. And Catface get to match point.
Again, full control, getting good information here. Despite the jump spot and down to 5 HP, the Nightfall, it was good enough to stall, and also you throw one Prowler that goes all the way back up towards that control of the long B side, so you know the re-hit is going back towards the A side. Even though this time there wasn't a real full rotate back towards A, because you would still expect that Mask to hit towards Art, towards Streets. It just came down to the op to try to get a pick. But when Kestrel misses a shot, it does not matter. Run it back still available. The wall's still up on the side of the A side that has been baited by Mask in the first place. So again, they had time all in their favor for the side of Catface for that round. So even if the shots weren't hitting, the whole macro positioning from Catface was perfect. So perfect. Meow. Catface.
Oh my god. I'm so glad we have a timeout to just soak that in. So, and yeah, kind of surprising that this is the first timeout of the whole series.
Yeah.
Just to point that out, because like, I mean, Mask were down what pretty severely, like 11-4 at some point, and this timeout only came out now, and I think Mask genuinely believe that this is winnable, and I would agree with them. They are really starting to pick up these rounds, but it needs to be flawless or it's just over.
The issue too that Mask doesn't want to call the timeout as well is because again, Catface has always been in a driver's seat of this whole first match. So if you're going to call it a timeout, this also gives an opportunity for your opponents to take full advantage of that timer. If they have a coach supporting this time around, which I doubt here this time around for Catface, but they still could have strong communication to hold this last round.
Alright, it's now perfection demanded of Mask, and I mean, even while blinded through all this chaos, Catface get exactly what they want. Converge and pass. Mask want revenge, and well, Swerve will just get it solo. Raven. I mean, the RAR is in the name. This is a absolute beast. Everyone's piling on. And this is just no fun. Now Zoe has to come from across the ocean to get the spike, and guess who's ready? Everybody's jumping around. Guys,
what are we
doing? What are we doing? This is too troll. This is too troll. Sometimes you have to play the mental warfare when it comes to Valorant.
It's working against me. It's working against me. I'm about to crash out. Just end it now and bring to the next map.
Dude, I'm laughing like the Joker out here, though. All right, Zoe. Time to get your ace. Time to get your bag. Why not? You know? No one's going to know the context when you post the screenshot of the ace. YOLO.
30 seconds left.
Kestrel, I think, should have this locked in, though. It's hunting season. Zoe's on the menu, and that is the final straw. 13-7 on Pearl on Catface's map pick.